All right. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Creators Corner here with TubeBuddy. My name is Rob Balasabas. I'm the brand evangelist here at TubeBuddy. If you guys are looking to get more confident on camera, actually start being in front of the camera and really connecting with your audience through videos, this is going to be the session that you want to definitely tune into. We've got a really awesome expert, confident video expert is the actual title. Lucas is going to be joining us. And so I'm going to bring him in right now. And as I do that, if you guys want to say hello in the comments, let us know that you guys are here. Drop your questions for Lucas, and we're gonna get started really quickly here. So I want to just dive right into it. Here we go. Lucas, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. Yourself?
I'm doing well. You're in Vancouver as well, so it's good to finally talk to a fellow Vancouverite. How's things?
Well, it's nice and raining and dark out, so I know that I am home. This is beautiful for July. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's cloudy. It's weird. It's Vancouver. It's Canada. So happy belated Canada Day. Hope you had enjoyed bringing it in. Another Canada Day.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's jump into this. Lucas, why don't you say hello? Tell people out there in the TubeBuddy world who you are, what you do, and then I want to jump into some questions and say hello to some of the people that are joining us live on all the different channels. So.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for having me, Rob. This is awesome, and I already seen some excellent questions in the chat box. So keep putting them in there. This is excellent. Who I am. I'm Lucas Mattiello. I do training on how to speak on stage, but also switched it because the events are done and video is the way to go now to confident on video. And so I've been doing it for 9 years. That's what I do. It's a specialization. And, I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I struggled with panic attacks, anxiety from 14 to 29. My first panic attacks were when I was in high school wrestling. I always felt like I was going to die in a wrestling match and I didn't know why. And I just was afraid and I was avoiding it. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my coach because I was really embarrassed and ashamed. And I think a lot of people, that shame really holds us back. And so when I was 29, I went to the doctor and he sent me to the mental hospital actually to see a psychiatrist. He's like, you need to get some real help. You're in a rough spot. And I went there, and I'll tell you, that was a turning point in my life because I realized that having a mentor, having a plan, and having support and being able to open up and share what's really going on, that changed it. And so been doing it for nine years now, official TEDx coach. I help leaders share their message in a big way so they make an impact. And I'm just really grateful to be here.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm thankful to have you here as well. We got a lot of people here. We got Jeanette. We got Chris from Ready Set Autism on YouTube. Man, we got Jeff from LinkedIn, Ron and Neil as well. So good to see everyone here. Now, this is always a conversation. So please leave your questions in the comments. We're on all of these different channels and stuff. So Lucas, you don't have to worry about the comments. I'll track the comments and kind of throw some questions at you from the audience. So drop them in the chat, guys. Let us know if you guys are creating videos already, and what questions you have about having confidence in front of a camera and how to really either get started or get better being in front of camera. Because Lucas, why don't you tell us a little bit about like what you do on the coaching side, because you've got an awesome community. I've actually taught a session inside of your course, and so tell us a little bit about how you work with different entrepreneurs and individuals with video confidence.
Yeah, so our training's called Confident on Video. So it's what people want, and that's the goal. And how we do this, it's 6 weeks to get baselines. That's what we've got to start off, because a lot of people, right now we know we need to put ourselves out there. Live events are shut down, conferences are shut down, networking groups are shut down. So it's like, how do you get your message out there as a business owner? How do you grow? And a lot of businesses, they're going to get shut down. Their sales are declining. There's only one way to thrive in today's world right now and get your message out there, and it's through video. Now, the big fear that comes up, which is putting myself out there, right? That's often the big fear. That's actually your secret weapon, because a lot of times people think they need to be perfect to do video, but you just need to have the courage to get started. And that's something I really want to reinforce is just getting started. And so when I work with people, it's a 6-week program to get started, but we have to start with doing a baseline, where you are, stress management, get clear on your video topic ideas so you know what to say, and then we can move you through. And The big thing is people get caught up in the technical side. It's not.
Yep.
You know what you do. It's the inner work. It's about giving yourself permission. It's the vulnerability. It's the fear of judgment and rejection. All of this that's the real work.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a good message, man. So yeah, it's more internal and, really kind of your own doubts with yourself. And so how does somebody get started really creating? Because if you're scared of getting in front of the camera, I mean, for myself, even, I tell people that there wasn't really much videos of me, Lucas. I think I told you this during my teenage years and stuff like that, home videos and stuff. I was like afraid of being in front of the camera, even for just like family videos. So, but it's something as an adult, in my professional career, I've had to kind of step out of my comfort zone and, just kind of force myself into it, little by little, got more comfortable. And away we are here, still learning, but doing multiple live stream videos each week and things like that. And, the other side of it, I think a lot of people don't see is, I'm sure you have tons of stories of this with your clients and students, is that the benefit that you get from getting outside of your comfort zone and getting over that fear is so good. Like there's so many opportunities and doors that can open up. So how does somebody start? How does somebody start? Like right now, how does somebody start?
Well, I mean, how do you get started? Look, with video, I mean, when we look at required equipment to start, this is it. A phone. Right. That's it. If we want to get serious with this and go, what is the required equipment? You need a cell phone. You need a voice. You need the ability to be able for words to come out of your mouth. And third is courage to get started. And courage is about taking action in the face of uncertainty. Most people get stuck because they go, oh, it needs to look a certain way. I'll put a video out if I know that people are going to like it, if it's the right length. If I know, I'm going to get a lot of engagement. You're never going to know that. Okay? You'll never have certainty on that. So it's about taking action in the face of uncertainty. So, everybody has the ability. We have the tools to get started. And what it comes down is the permission. So even if you're just getting started with it, just think about what is a problem that your ideal clients struggle with and do a video about that. Like that's how you get started. If you want to get started, just do that. And you may want to make it easy on yourself. Do like an Instagram story. I mean, it's 15 seconds and then it's gone. If you're really afraid, that's how I encourage people to start. Or of course, do a training because that's going to get you moving forward, the accountability, but also the support to overcome those hurdles.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's the key thing there you said at the end. I think training and also support. I think there's oftentimes, there's a lot of noise, a lot of voices when you start including your own, when you start putting yourself out there on video. People will comment and you might get 100 comments, right, Lucas? You might get 100 really good comments and then one comment is kind of like neutral/negative. And that's the one that you remember, right? And so that's where the support and the community and training kind of comes back into place and kind of pushes you forward, rather than, kind of giving up. And there's some really good questions here, Lucas. I want to jump into this stuff, but the one thing I want to ask you first is, you mentioned Instagram stories. Instagram is one place for sure to share videos, but how do you know, like what, as a new video creator, what's the best place? How do you know what's the best place to share your videos to reach your ideal clients?
I mean, look, I think what's happening right now is there's so many platforms, and we're doing this right now. StreamYard, we're going across all platforms. And so somebody might look at that and go, oh, this is overwhelming. There's so many options. Where do I start? I had a client of mine that reached out. She's a realtor, and she was saying, I hear a lot about TikTok. Do I need to start a TikTok account? I go, that's a younger demographic. Is that who your clients are? And she's like, no. My age range is typically 30 to 60. I said, well, most 30 to 60-year-olds aren't on TikTok. So why do it? And it's this fear of like, oh, I hear it's a hot platform. I need to get in on that. And when you're starting, just think about where are your ideal clients hanging out. Okay, that's it. Just think about where your ideal clients hanging out and get started adding value there. Because that's one, where are they hanging out? And then two is what platforms do you enjoy? Because if you don't enjoy the platform, you're not going to show up as powerfully as you could. And that's the big key here. That's actually step 2 in the 3 steps we're sharing. We're jumping order, which is good. But that is the second part. It's just think about where your ideal clients hang out and show up and add value.
Okay, that sounds good. So where do people hang out? Where's your ideal clients hanging out? Good point about TikTok, versus LinkedIn, versus Instagram, versus YouTube, versus Facebook. Where are they hanging out? So maybe asking your audience, like, hey, straight up, like, hey, where do you spend most of your time? You might want to email them or do Instagram stories or Facebook posts and things like that. And then also, where do you enjoy, right? That's also a big key of it, because if you're not spending time on LinkedIn, even though your people are there, then you're probably not going to be consistent and do it for the long run. So awesome. Just Samson says his mom is crushing it on TikTok. That's I don't know if you're joking, but that's awesome. Good to hear.
I hope she is. I hope she's crushing it.
That's awesome. I love it. Awesome. There's a question here. I've got a question here next, but there's a question from Jeanette Martin from LinkedIn Live. How long do videos need to be on the various platforms? Not wanting to lose interest. So not wanting to lose the engagement with your audience. So how long do videos need to be?
Well, there's a saying, it's not about how long, it's about, you can never be too long, you can just be too boring. And so when you look at it, if you're not adding value, you're not engaging, that it's going to fall apart. I think with metrics, people get caught up with it. Look, if when I'm working with a new client, I say, start with 2 to 4 minutes. That's something that just get clear. Now, a big mistake that comes up is people try to answer too many questions. Just if you're doing videos, you got to shift your mindset that you're an expert and you're answering questions. You're providing value. So just clear on what's one problem, offer a solution to that problem, and then you're out. Because that's what's going to build you moving forward. When videos just go on, it's either they're meandering, they're answering too many different questions. It's losing focus. If you're starting off 2 to 4 minutes, just get started. But YouTube marketers will say, oh, 10 minutes plus, there's a rise in engagement. Then they're pushing that now. It's one of these questions that you'll never be answered, and it's something that people get hung up and hold themselves back from starting. Just get started. If you want to start answering questions, provide value, and then you can go from there.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, don't be boring. I mean, yeah. So I think the one quote or the one line that always kind of still sticks to me with how long should a video be, make it as long as you want, but as short as possible. Okay, yeah. So don't try to make it longer just because hey, I just want to have a longer view count or whatever. If you can deliver something in 2 minutes versus 10 minutes, just do it in 2 minutes. Split up your videos, like make a series of videos. If it's like a really long type of thing. Yeah, so good question. Keep them coming. Keep the questions coming. Now, Lucas, I know that one of the things that you teach here is sort of like this 3 steps to starting your confident on video journey. That's kind of the program that you have. First, tell us about that program. I'm going to share a link because you are going to be launching that program again soon. So anybody that's interested to really take video seriously, then definitely check out Lucas's program. I'll share a link in the chat and in the comments. But tell us about that program, and then let's dive into some really the 3 steps, sort of overarching 3 steps to get confident on video.
Okay, perfect. So the first one is, people get stuck and they go, I don't know what to say. The biggest fear is I don't know what to say. I don't want to just add noise to an already noisy world. I don't want to just, add more garbage. I want to make sure that my video topics are adding value, that my ideal clients are loving it. And so the first thing is get very clear with who you're talking to. A lot of times people start videos and they're like, oh, I want to help everybody. I want to do this. No. You want to get specific. You want to really call out your ideal audience. Go, this is for you. If you are this person, this video is going to help you. So you're not speaking to everybody. You want to polarize to monetize. You got to get very specific. You want people to watch the video, go nope, not for me, or hell yeah. Because when you get those hell yeahs, that's where you're building your tribe. So the first one is to get very clear with what to say on video. First, identify who your ideal client is, who you're speaking to. And even when you're doing it, think about in your mind, okay, I'm speaking to this person. I'm actually talking one-on-one. This phone, the camera, it's a portal to connect with your ideal client. Just envision, I'm a very visual person. Imagine that you're speaking to them, and that's going to allow you to be more comfortable in your own skin and delivering it. So the first one, topic ideas. This is how you can get a year's worth of topics in 30 minutes or less. I'm going to give you 5 subjects, and you can just do 10 videos each. And if you're doing 1 video a week, that's almost a year's worth of content. So the first category is, what are the top problems your ideal clients struggle with? That's the first one. Top problems, they just listed out 10 different topics in there. That's 10. The second category is, what are the top dreams or goals your clients have? That's, you do another 10 there. That could be 20 videos on that, right? Total. So you got top problems. Second one is top goals, the dreams that your clients have. The third ones are, what are the top frequently asked questions your clients have? What do they commonly ask you when they're signing up, or your prospective clients? What are they always asking you? That's the third category. The fourth one that I like is the top should ask questions. Now, most people don't even think about this, but what are the questions your prospective clients should ask you, but they don't? So for me, for example, they should ask me, what are why should I go with you and you're confident on video course versus someone else? It's like, well, I'll tell you right now, there's a bunch of differences. One, it's live. How many times have you bought a pre-recorded course, you had all the intentions, you buy it, and you maybe check out a first couple episodes and you don't do anything with it? That's a very common scenario. So that's one to look at. How can you move forward from that? That's the first one. But the other one too is this is all about the inner game. And if you're looking for somebody with the technical side, there are options that are better. Okay, I am not the go-to for crafting stories, crafting your message, but when it comes down to overcoming the fears to put yourself out there, that's something that definitely this is the go-to. So what are the top should ask questions your client should ask you? That could be video topics. And then the fifth could be more about, what are client stories? So client successes, client setbacks, client wins. These are all different areas. So if you did 10 for each, that's 50 videos, right? 50 video topics. You do one a week. That would be enough to fill up a year's worth of content if you do one a week.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah. So I shared all of those. I'm going to go back and just write those and knock it out for the rest of the year. Really good. I love that. Lucas. Hey, Josh is here.
Yeah.
Josh is here. So he actually said a little earlier, sorry, Josh, I saw your message here, but he says, after shooting my first 20 videos, I need this. So Josh is a brilliant YouTube mind. He's very strategic when it comes to YouTube, works with a lot of brands with their YouTube channels and everything. So really bright guy when it comes to gear as well. I'm always hitting up Josh for gear questions, but he's got a question. I'm a laid back, monotone personality. Any advice on how to get more energy on camera without having the annoying YouTuber voice? We all know that voice.
Yeah.
Guilty of it once in a while. Got it.
Hey,
what's up, guys? Yeah.
What's up, guys? Welcome.
Yeah. I love it though. I love it. Yeah. So what's your advice there when it comes to somebody that's a little more chill and more laid back, naturally to show up on camera? Because I remember when I first started doing videos, Aaron Morin, I don't know if you ever watched this, Aaron, if you ever catch this, Aaron Morin was on the Thinkific team back. He still is. And he said, when you're in front of the camera makes you 30%, 20-30% more boring,
Sure.
It kind of dulls you down, so you kind of have to amp it up a bit just to even be your normal self. So what's your advice there, man, when it comes to being
great question, video Joshua. I love this. So laid back, monotone personality. So depends on how deep do we want to go with this, because there's layers. Okay, now I'm never purposely trying to change a person or make them become who they're not, but
of course
this goes into the third step, which is about how to say it. And this takes time to unpack, but we come into this world fully self-expressed. If you have kids or you're around kids, you see that there's no filter. They're just full joy, full expression, full of life. Oftentimes our exposure to speaking in public or putting ourselves out there was muted through childhood, parents, keep it down, don't be so loud. You're embarrassing me. Could be about fear of being too much. Again, you're being shut down by authorities. It could be your exposure in school. A lot of times it was get up, read in front of the class. You do that. Maybe there's someone that you like, or you're stumbling, you don't have any training. You feel embarrassed, and shame. Shame can take years, if not decades, to overcome when you feel that. So a lot of times our exposures, we come into this world fully self-expressed, and then it gets dulled down. So this monotone personality, that could be just your character, who you are. But in a lot of cases with my clients, that monotone, there's elements of armor around it. It's, if I'm monotone, I'm not fully putting myself out there, so I'm not going to get rejected. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm not going to feel exposed. And so that's the part that when we go through it, going into a training environment where they feel safe to start looking at those elements to go, hang on, maybe I've been a default laid back person because I'm afraid of coming across as too much or too bold or losing that armor. That is something that's really important. So you got to look at it. There's so many layers to that, because as humans, we're always operating from protection and survival. We don't want to be hurt. We don't want to be cast out for the crowd. But in today's world, standing out is the only way to build that tribe. And when we got to look at the big picture, regrets, that's going to come from not becoming the person that you could be. And so some people say the definition of hell is meeting the person that you could have become on your deathbed. And that's maybe I'm going too deep right now.
That's deep.
But think about it. So, Josh, to your point about this, I would say if that's who you truly are in your heart of hearts, is that you're just laid back. But the other piece too is, when you say, how do I have more energy? well, then it's, are you wanting to put more energy because you want to be liked, or you're doing it to fit in, or there's an external expectation that I need to have more energy, or is that it's this gap of I know who I could be and I'm not there yet, and I got to navigate through those fears. A lot of layers there.
A lot of layers, man. A lot of layers. I like, yeah. I mean, never saw it that way. I mean, even I've got a couple of little kids, and when we're out, like, well, not right now, but we're in restaurants and stuff. It's like, do whatever. Like, you know, like you guys are playing around, talking. Like, you don't want to. Yeah. So good advice, man. Never thought of that. You're dropping parenting advice too, man. Look at you, man. Everywhere.
Well, you know,
I love it.
I'll tell you what, because people come to me. And they often, when they sign up, they say, oh, you need to help me find my voice. I say, no. Hang on. This isn't about you finding your voice. This is about you reclaiming your voice. This is about you having sovereignty of who you are and disconnecting from the external pressure and tapping into who you are. And as you know, this is about creators and putting ourselves out there. Yep. So there's going to be a lot of comparison trap. Oh, these other people are doing it. This whole YouTube voice, I love that, because that wouldn't exist if you weren't in a silo where you're constantly saying, oh, they have a lot of success. They're talking in that way. They're doing these things. It's like, hang on, but if you're out of alignment with who you are, you're not going to show fully.
Yep. I love that. Josh says, Counselor Lucas is in the house. Thanks for the deep advice. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, let me know if you have any follow-up questions, guys. Let's just dive into questions here, because there's a lot of questions. I want to make sure we serve our audience here. So Marissa Cali, good to see you. Marissa from San Diego, good friend of ours. Would you suggest joining as a guest on live shows to get more comfortable on camera? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is all about exposure. There is no substitute for relevant experience. Now, I'm going to make an assumption here that you're saying go as a guest on a live show to get more comfortable. That's something that it's interesting. It's some people, they're more comfortable being a guest on a show, and other people are going to be more comfortable hosting their own show. So you got to figure out what is the easiest way for you to get started. If it's like, hey, I just want to be a guest and you have opportunities, absolutely doing it. Absolutely do it. And live versus recording. I just did a call with another show 1 minute before this one. And his big thing was he's more comfortable going live than a recording. And this it can be that way, or it can be the opposite for people. But a lot of times live, there's no pressure, there's no expectations. And so we take it easier on ourselves. So absolutely, if that's easy for you, go there, start with that, because the most important thing is you get started.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the element of live versus recorded, and also the element of guest versus being a host. I guess being a guest, there's a little bit more like uncertainty of like, what is the host going to ask me? Unless you like really communicate that before. But being a host, you kind of control what goes in front of the camera and all that stuff. But yeah, good answer. Marissa, let us know. I know Marissa works with a lot of live streamers. She's a remote live producer. So basically she will run your live show remotely from San Diego, from wherever she is. And she'll run your live show using, different platforms. And so yeah, Marissa, awesome person. If you're looking to start a live show, she's the go-to person there. Yeah. So Chris from Ready Set Autism on YouTube says, Joshua, same question, same issue. So yeah, that's a really good answer to Joshua's question there. Super deep from Just Samson. Let's see. Marissa says, fear can be instilled from a very young age. Definitely. All right. We've got some really good questions here coming in. All right. Sorry, guys.
Rob,
a lot of chats here. Go ahead.
I got a quick story, because you mentioned this earlier, negative feedback and fears about what people are going to think. This is one of the biggest blocks that come up. And I'll share with an example. Last week, I did a webinar. It was part of this, it was a business group, and I'm doing a webinar. And, you meet before, make sure the camera's right, the mic's working, all that stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
It's 1 minute before I'm going to go out. And I know the organizer. Okay, I've known him. I've done some events with him before. Yep. And we're sitting there, and we're just about to go live. And he's like, Lucas, he's like, your hair is getting grayer. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I swear to God, a minute before I'm about to go live to do a 1 hour presentation for his group, right? He's like, your hair is getting grayer. And I'm like, oh yeah, I bought the new Logitech Brio. I'm like, maybe it's a 4K camera. I don't know. I'm just like, whatever, dude. I don't know. But he comes back. He's like, no, it's not that. He's like, no, it's significantly grayer than the last time I saw you. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm like, yeah, probably is. And he kept, we'll let it go. He kept talking about gray hair. And I'm like, look, man, it's instant credibility. Okay, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
stress, it's credibility. And here's the irony. Right. I was dyeing my hair. I've been having gray hair since my mid-20s. If you look at my first YouTube videos, I had jet black hair. Not that I naturally had it. I was very insecure. So from probably mid-20s to mid-30s, about 10 years, I was dyeing my hair. And then I started to become more comfortable in my skin. And I started to accept myself. And I'm like, this is who I am. Oh, it was coming from insecure. Like, do you? But it was interesting. He kept bringing it up. Here's the irony. The guy's bald. And I'm like, dude, a bald guy, he wouldn't let it go. He kept talking about my damn gray hair. Yeah. This is crazy. But I bring that up for you because I sat with it. And this, again, 1 minute before I'm doing my presentation, I'm like, this could rattle some people. You know, like, like what the hell? It could rattle somebody. But when I sat with it, I go, this guy's not in a good place in his life. And I share that with you because when you're putting yourself out there, negative comments, people who are in a good place in their life, who are doing big things, are not going on YouTube and saying negative comments about other people. So when you're doing it, have compassion and know that it's not about you. It's not about, it's never about you. Do the best that you can. Yes, you're putting yourself out there. People are gonna say that you're a moron and you're making mistakes, and maybe sometimes you are, and you're gonna learn from it and you're gonna grow. I've been there. We all are, and I'm gonna continue doing it. But it's not about you, man. They're putting it out there. They're doing it.
Exactly, man. If anyone's doing, anyone that's actually like they appreciate, they're not gonna tear you down because they know what it's like to try to build something. So Jennifer from LinkedIn says, "Looks cool, your gray hair." So all good. Yeah. I got ahead of it a little early, and I'm like, I'm at some point gonna go bald or have gray hair, so I'm just gonna shave. When I was grade 8, I just shaved my head and then never just continued shaving. Nobody knows when my hair color actually is.
Hey. You're like, I have an afro under. I just choose not to.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly. Jeff Bates, good to see you. He says he's checking out Level Up Living right now. That's awesome. Also, Video Joshua says he's bald at 23 and started graying in my beard at 28. So just own it. That's great. There you go. Also, Video Joshua, there was a really good question because you shared the 5 things that you could do to create essentially content for a whole year. So he says, outside of talking with peers, past clients, and tapping into online groups, what resources do you recommend for answering those 5 questions?
What resources? Well, I don't know. I mean, that sounds like a peers, past clients, online groups. You know, if you're looking for other ones, I mean, you could do some research on other YouTube channels and see what questions are coming up. What, use TubeBuddy. Hey, I'm going to plug TubeBuddy here. You could use that as a great way to get topics. I mean, that's a great resource to find potential ideas. I mean, that Answer the Public, that's another good resource where they'll give you a ton of different ideas on that. Also, I'll look at Amazon. Those a lot of times there's those garbage ebooks, but I'll look at them just for the titles. And actually, here's a little ninja tip. I'll go through and read the reviews, and I'll look at the 5 stars, what people love, and also the 1 stars. What do people hate? What were the gaps that were missing? Those are all areas that you can come up with content ideas.
I love it, man. That's great. Good advice there. There's a question here. This is outside of like video online, but Shalini from Twitter Live or Periscope, I guess it's called. Whenever I'm in a meeting, I feel really shy, I'm conscious and quiet. How do I overcome this? I think that's sort of what you were talking about earlier. Like that kind of overflows into creating videos and stopping you from that, because even in person, you're kind of shut down already. So what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on it are, this is a great question because that's how I actually got started. I was doing corporate stress management, and I met with the director of HR for an organization. She was like, hey, my biggest problem is we have very talented young staff, but when they go into big board meetings with senior executives, they shut down and they never contribute. They never share their ideas. And she's like, could you talk to them and do a training? So I did. And what we discovered is that a lot of it was the imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome is feeling that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve to be heard. And it's a fear that you'll be exposed as not being as knowledgeable as other people make you out to be, and exposed as a fraud. This is something, there's stats out there and studies say 80% of people struggle with it at some point in their career. I think the other 20% are lying. I think everybody struggles with it. At some point in their career, you're going, am I actually able to do this? Am I going to ruin my reputation if I really go for it? But that's the fears that are coming up. So with this, the reason that I'm so passionate about speaking in public and being confident on video is I'm actually not about the exposure piece. I'm more about the personal development. That's what I love, because if this is showing up in your work world, it's showing up in your life, and it's a powerful personal development tool. So I would dig into why. What's coming up. Is it that you don't feel that you deserve to be heard? Is it you don't feel that you're good enough? Is it that your inner critic's too high? And when you're speaking, you're thinking, why did I say that? That's stupid. This isn't good enough. A lot of times in meetings, people have ideas and they don't share. And then somebody else says it and they get all this credit. And then everyone's like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. And then boom, their self-esteem takes a hit. These are all elements that come up. So when you're looking at it, it's important to dig into it to go, how do I overcome that thing? Now, in a meeting, the longer you wait, the worse it's going to get. So my tip for you on that is, one, if you're going to contribute early. Okay, it doesn't matter what you say, do it, because that's going to break that barrier that's holding you back from speaking, and then you'll be able to move forward with it. But just know, and the other one too is when you own your experience, just like creators, I always frame it. You're sharing your experience. You're sharing what you believe. This doesn't mean that you're going to be right. There's 7 billion people on this planet. 7 billion points of view. Everybody's right. I don't know, Rob or any viewers, I don't know your lived experience. I don't know what you've been through. I can't tell you how you feel. But what I can is just share from my knowledge. This is what's worked for me. This is what I've been through. And when you share from that place, that's going to hopefully embolden you to put your message out there.
I like it. I love it, man. That's really good. And start, like, the one thing there that I caught is that contribute early. Contribute early. Yeah, that's really good advice. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I'm, in meetings, I'm like, oh man, I just want to share something. But sometimes you're just like, everyone here has so many brilliant ideas. And so, contribute early, get it out, and then you become part of the conversation. Like, you always are part of the conversation, but to yourself, you're like, I'm part of this conversation. You're not kind of getting left behind. But that's really good. Good advice, man. Did you want to add something there?
Yeah, I was going to say with that too, is we got to look, this goes deeper into human dynamics, where in a meeting, there's active participants that they're announced. It's like when you participate at the beginning, it's like, okay, these are the people that are going to be more active in a meeting. And then everyone else, they're going to sit back and kind of watch. Unless it's something that's really compelling, the likelihood of you sharing it drops as we go, because there's more fear, there's more hesitation. So you want to be, and this is, I mean, we're not talking about corporate, but if you get into it, it's not about expertise, it's more about exposure. We're in a new era right now. It's all about exposure. It's not about being the most competent. Unfortunate, it should be. That's not fair. But the reality is, we're in a new era. It's the exposure era. And if you are not putting yourself out there, you are not seen. If you're not seen, you're not going to be able to help people. You're not going to be positioned as the expert. So you need to put your message out there.
I love that, man. So true. So true. Exposure area. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that all of us have seen somebody out there that's putting themselves out there, and you've kind of thought, like, I kind of know somebody that has probably like more authority to speak into those things. But they've been braver and more bolder to step out there. And it may not be perfect, but they're crafting, they're refining their packaging and all that stuff. So I like that exposure era. There's a question here from Neil from Facebook. How do you deal with hate comments?
There's different schools of thought. Some do the block and delete. Some say, hey, I just want to not respond, and some people want to respond. There's no one size fits all solution to that. You got to look inside yourself and go, what do you want to do? Now, do you want to use it as an opportunity to educate people? I think a lot of the platforms are kind of degenerating into hey, let me argue with somebody else today. I'm staying out of that whole scene. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm not here to try to educate people on my opinion or why I think it's right or wrong. I don't care about that. I'm here to focus on adding value and helping the people that I want. So in terms of hate comments, the one thing that I will say is that it's not coming from a good place. I said that before. I'll come back to that. But the other one is, do you want to take your time and energy to add fuel to that? I don't know. That's a personal question. You got to sit with it. Personally, I don't want to, and that's the thing. It's, you got to move forward. But even with haters, look, I was a hater. Okay. And I resonate deeply with this. I understand it. When I was starting out, I remember there's a front page of the newspaper, The Province, here in Vancouver. It was a Province newspaper. And there was a guy on there called Brent Seal. And it says, former hockey goalie speaking out about mental illness. And when I saw that, I was so angry. I was like, man, I was swearing. I was like, this guy's no good. He's a bum. I'll be 1,000 times better than him. I had all this anger towards him. And then I went down to my laptop. I found him on LinkedIn, and I sent him a message. I'm like, hey, man, saw your article. really inspired by you. I'd love to talk with you and connect more. Okay. Now I say that with you. My initial reaction wasn't of a place of inspiration and wow, that's so amazing. It was anger because he was doing what I wanted to do. And so wherever you are in your personal development, it can be very confronting to see people doing what you want, as Rob alluded to, other people that are more qualified. But when you look at it, it's either going to be inspiration to move forward or it can come out in anger. And if it's creating that reaction side, you got to look inside and go, is there something inside of me that's jealous that they're doing and then you got to own it. Okay. You got to own it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, man. Well said. I think that has to be said, especially in this exposure era that we're in. Yeah. Like check your heart, right? Check your heart. Are you jealous? Are you hating? So, Just Samson says, hurt people. It's more about them than you. So yeah, well said. Awesome. Lucas, I want to make sure I respect the time here. So tell people about, cause you're launching, like I taught the last version, the last cohort of your course, got to teach and do a guest spot on that and talk about YouTube and gear and stuff like that. But tell people what you're doing next and sort of the timeline for the next launch.
Yeah, man, we're coming up. So I did the launch course, which is the last one. And that was, it was amazing. I was actually nervous about doing it. I've been doing live training for so long that I was afraid about doing online because I thought nobody would get results. What happened was people got amazing results. I was blown away with it because we started off with that Facebook group. It's a private group where you can start getting wins. A lot of times people's fear is about being exposed and hurting their reputation, looking bad. And so we created that group. The first 2 weeks, we're just doing videos, posting in that Facebook group. So you get the wins, you get the skill set, and then we start transitioning to putting yourself out there. And, we got a picture here I see of Jackie. Jackie came in, he'd never done one video, and he did his first video putting it out there. In the 6 weeks, he went from never doing a video to putting his first video on Facebook to a guy that runs a YouTube show and has a podcast, saw his video and was like, hey, he does financial planning. He goes, would you come on and do an interview? He did an interview on his show. Now he became the in-house expert on financial planning. And after that experience, he was so inspired by it. He's like, this is the exposure. I need to start my own show. He launched his own podcast and YouTube show. So in 6 weeks, he went from never doing anything to seeing the power. And now he's got his own thing building up. So it's amazing what people make. It's the transformation. You're going to get clients. And in today's world, if you're not putting yourself out there, you're invisible. You can't help people. So the fear is going to kick up, but you got to move past it. You got to move past it. And a lot of times we got to check in. It's really ego-based. It's ironic. My clients are very heart-centered and they want to help. But when it comes to videos, the fear is, I don't want to look bad. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to look stupid. It's all ego. We got to transcend that and go, actually, I'm here to add value, to be of service. And that's about showing up fully, helping people, making a difference. The only way to do that is through the video. So it's a 6-week course. We build you up. Week 1 is first we got to start with compassion. We got to reduce that inner critic, because if you're beating yourself up, you're constantly criticizing yourself, you'll never put yourself out there. So we start with compassion. Then second is commitment, because who you are today isn't who's going to get you to be that person that's confident on video. You got to become a new version of yourself, an upgraded version. It's going to require confronting yourself, but it's going to be so liberating where you start to reclaim your voice. So that's commitment. Step 3 is courage. And when you come to Courage Week, that's about taking action in the face of uncertainty. A lot of people go, I'll put a video if I know it's going to be loved, if it's going to turn out well, if people are going to love me, I'm going to get no hate comments, all these things, then I'll do it. That's never going to happen. So it's about taking action in the face of uncertainty. And once you do those 3, then you start getting into 4, which is competence. It's a skill set. It's like, okay, I'm better at this. I can just keep going. 5, it's conviction. That's where you speak, you drive people. You have that tonality where it's like, this is what you need to do. And then 6, that's last week. That's where we get into confidence. And that's about believing in yourself and your abilities. And the question there, it shifts from what can I do to shifting to what do I choose to do? And that's where you're in your power, where you sit there, you have freedom of choice, because it's the ultimate superpower in today's world. The number 1 fear is actually your opportunity to have a number 1 superpower. When you have the ability to speak on video and put your message out there, that's the way to thrive in today's world.
Amazing, man. Amazing. So it's a 6-week course. When is it starting?
Yeah, quick, I forgot to mention that. Details. I'm big picture, not detail oriented. So this is good. It actually launches next week, so you don't even have to wait. Next week, Wednesday, calls are Wednesdays, 10 a.m. until 11:30 Pacific time. They're on Zoom. Every call is recorded, so sometimes people can't make the live calls. It's a beautiful system because we do the training calls on Wednesdays, and then on the Mondays, we have accountability and support calls, where it's an open forum. You're there. You come with your fears. Come with your resistance. Come with what's been coming up for you, because on this journey, there's going to be a lot of obstacles to face, for you to get that liberation. And that it's an open forum. There's no agenda. I'm just here for you, answer your questions, review videos, break them down. We do that on the Mondays. And then we have the private Facebook group where people can go post the videos, get those wins in there, get that exposure. And it's everything that a person needs, from a system to be confident on video. And then we also have a 3-day online course at the end of it called the Thought Leader Roadmap. So if people want to do talks, or they're able to, they want to do webinars, we build that out in a 3-day course. And it's an amazing course. We're launching. I got a launch special right now. I'm building out $2,000 course. I just need some more testimonials. We got some great ones, but I'm collecting them, and I want to get more, because this is something I want to help 1,000 entrepreneurs to take the power of video to impact the world and to build their life. And so I'm offering this $2,000 course. It's only $1,000 right now, and $1,000 for that. It's a no-brainer because it's going to support you. And the best part, I have a bonus for this version right now. You get re-attendance rights, so you can show up for this one and then do the next one. Sometimes people they don't fully engage with it, or they're just too nervous. They get started and they can't fully lean into it. You attend the next one and you're able to skyrocket. So it's an amazing value, and it has a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. I don't want people that aren't, it's not a fit. So definitely, if that's something for you, go to the course, or I'm going to put the link in the chat box.
Sure.
Actually, book a call, because I want to make sure that it's something that you're really able to make sure it's the right fit.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll put that link in here. So everyone, book a call with Lucas here. So if you guys have any questions, if you're thinking about really trying to level up on showing on video and everything, like you said, this is, we got to get out there. This is the only way to really stand out is video. It's one of the best ways. So yeah, if you guys are thinking about it, this is a great opportunity to do that. I'll put the link to book a call with Lucas and ask him all your questions and sort out all the details. But that's awesome. Lucas, man, thank you so much, dude. This has been really good. I love everything that you shared, even the parenting advice. So it's been really good. I think we got a ton of value. So if you guys are watching this on the replay, if you guys have other questions, Lucas, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, they book a call or send me an email, Lucas at levelupliving.com. That's cool. That's something to do. And and one thing I just want to leave with this, Rob, is that if it's with me or somebody else, you got to find the person you resonate with. Maybe my energy is different for you, or you're like, I don't feel it. That's cool. If it is, hell yeah, definitely book a call. But the reason I share that with you is that video is the only way to win in today's world. Okay, that's the reality of the situation. The train has already left the station. Okay, the train's left the station already, and now it's not will I be left behind, but it's a question of how left behind do I want to be. And anyone who's here to really make a difference, you have an opportunity right now. I don't want you to be left behind. We have the tools. All you need is a phone to get started. Now, it's ourselves that get in the way, and that's okay. No shame on that. It's a human journey. But the part is definitely start on video. Again, if it's with me or somebody else, find the person that's going to help you, because this is something that 6 months from now, you look back, it's going to be a life-changing decision. And there was one question that the guy mentioned, I forgot who it was. Somebody said speaking in public versus video and how it's different with the nerves. The big difference is that when it's an audience, you can scan the audience and see people and be like, oh, okay, are people liking it? Are they engaging? And it builds your self-esteem. It makes you feel good. With video, you don't have that, and we can get in our head, think about the inner critic, think about, is this engaging? Again, with that, it comes back to ourselves. The more confident you are, the better you are at being able to share it. So my last tip about video is imagine that camera is your ideal client and you're speaking to one person. That's going to make it more natural, because that was a question in there. How to become more natural? It's going to humanize it. If it's this inanimate object, you're going to get wrapped up. You're going to be disconnected. Imagine you're speaking to your ideal client and you're just coming from a place of love and that you want to help them win. You're here to support them. That's going to put you in that natural state, and it's going to transfer over.
I love it, man. That's good advice. Good advice. Lucas, tons of value. Definitely connect with Lucas, book a call with him, check out his course, or connect with you on LinkedIn, LinkedIn and Twitter as well. So those are the two that I see that you're pretty active on. And yeah, definitely connect with Lucas there. So Lucas, awesome, man. Hope you're staying well, staying safe. I think we're allowed to have coffee now. I'm not sure, but we should at some point. I would love to catch up with you in person, man. Awesome. Sounds good. Everyone, Marissa, Jeff Sampson, Graham, Jeff, everyone, Joshua, everyone that was here live. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll see you in the next show. So we'll take care.
Thank you so much.